Well, listen, you covered a lot of ground in those two comments. I'll try to cover all of it. The first one, I'm going to stand and trade with you. Yeah, Bilal's throwing out some of that bravado. There's a few things about that. Number one, promotionally, that's what the fans want to hear, right? So that's awesome. Number two, it can play with your opponent's head a little bit. But let's make something very clear about prize fighting, guys. Everything is how you posture yourself and who you're fighting and whatnot. So you're not going to fight someone else's fight and give that other person the chance to win. It just doesn't make any sense. Now, look, when I was fighting, everything was tough guy stuff. Oh, I'll take the fight. My big call to fame was I never pulled out of a fight. And why didn't I pull out of fights? Because I didn't really care about winning or losing. It was about showing up and being there. That's the ultimate tough guy thing to do, right? But it's not if you really want to have a career. Everything now in MMA is career and whatnot. So yes, you can bet Belal will be using his wrestling to overwhelm Magdalena if he's able to overwhelm Magdalena. So yeah, you got to fight your fight. Shevchenko, yeah, she's been dominant a while, man. But there's something else about Shevchenko. She reminds me of Anderson Silva during his run as top pound for pound fighter. Her, of course, being the female. You see holes in her game. And if you're wise and you look back, you can see holes in Anderson Silva's game. And it just took a while for the rest of the people to catch up. And that eventually happened with Silva. And he had an unfortunate end to his career where he couldn't let it go. And he kept fighting and he kept fighting and he kept fighting. Shevchenko hopefully won't do that. I mean, she beat a very tough Alexis Grasso out last time. So I think that was absolutely great and awesome, which flows into your next comments, listener, about Jose Aldo. Don't feel bad for Jose Aldo. Listen, Jose Aldo had an incredible run at featherweight, right? As WEC champion, then as UFC champion. He was an incredible fighter, and he really brought the lightweights along on his back, right? When it was lightweight and above, actually welterweight and above, when the UFC first started trying to make it again. So what is my point? So when drugs got pulled, right, Kim and Renan Barao started losing fights, right? Like he got knocked out in 13 seconds by Conor McGregor. That was a lack of steroids, right? But he reinvented himself as a bantamweight. So he didn't carry the weight anymore, right? Didn't need to a certain extent, right? Because you take some of that weight off and the guys don't hit as hard. And he became a world-class bantamweight. So for me, man, Jose Aldo's career is a double success. I would have loved to have seen Aldo win the bantamweight title, but I think that's passed him by now. Guys like Davishvili are just way, way too tough. But listen, he's a top 5 contender in that division, and I think that's awesome. So no matter what happens to Aldo this weekend, don't feel bad for him, man. He had a run at featherweight as the greatest ever, and then he had a run at bantamweight where he almost came back and won that fight. I look at Jose Aldo as sort of a dual champ, even though he never won it, because he definitely got himself in position to be there again. Anyway, read my book, Warrior of the Light.